neither has a true invading advantage over the other.
The Rek'Sai
Jarvan is
does have her tunnel form, but that's not really all that much.
so Rek'Sai, depending on how the early game goes, could have an advantage over Jarvan, though it would be less likely for Jarvan to have an advantage over Rek'Sai due to the better sustain on the Rek'Sai's end in the jungle. It just depends on how these patterns are going to go. So I think that's what we want to look out for the early game, simply seeing how Jarvan and
Triple
Rek'Sai are going to
teleport.
path.
I just noticed that.
Triple teleport, very common, more so in a high competitive play. Basically, when in a lane like Senna, Tom Kent versus Misfortune Braum, kills are going to be hard to come by unless the jungler comes in ganks. Not as much opportunity for 2v2 kills. So having the teleport to be able to, especially with Senna, who just has sometimes a problem pushing out on her own, even with the Tom Kench helping her because of her slow attack speed and not doing that much damage to minions early on, especially after the nerfs to your Q. So having the teleport, just being able to be like, I push out the minions that are in front of me, there's a wave coming, but getting that opportunity to back and teleport back to lane and not lose any CS, definitely beneficial for Senna. I think that's important, especially when you have the Tom Kench to keep you safe and take the heal. Definitely completely reasonable. But the Misfortune Braum definitely has a better opportunity of killing, so I can understand the heal ignite for the non-flash summoners in that bot lane.
So I am curious, has AD carries been taking teleport a lot lately?
So it really depends on team comp and what you have for that bot laner. So with Tom Kench, it's I think I've seen that more often on champions you wouldn't necessarily expect to take a teleport. I think it's more especially someone who may be a little less mobile. Like last season we saw it on pretty much every ADC depending on the situation, and champions like Varus and champions like Ezreal definitely were proponents of taking the teleport almost every game. So
and it looks like we're getting into the game.
I like it more often in a controlled environment where everyone's in comms, everyone's knowing what the game plan is and knowing how they want to allocate resources. So having the extra teleport is definitely very powerful, especially when you're not expecting to maybe compete for a 2v2 kill in lane, which I don't think the Senna Tom Kench will necessarily be trying to do as much.
I have to say, by the way, just following up of that really quickly, it's coming towards the end of January, and
Okay, just waiting for the game to load, and then we'll get right into this.
as a whole, we've grown.
So now what are your typical starting items on these top laners? Just standard door and shield?
So it all depends. Ornn is a bit more flexible because the fact that you can buy items at a base, so you could see door and shield refillable or a corrupting potion start from Ornn.
Interesting.
Definitely his preference. Mordekaiser definitely also more commonly will take a door and shield. I have seen Mordekaiser's take Doran's Ring, especially after the changes in the past few years. The Doran's Ring not being a full-fledged man item as much anymore. So getting that damage to minions, getting the AP, getting the health.
And we are into the game. Starting items are indeed Galio, Doran's Ring, standard support items as you'd expect, and the Mordekaiser going the Doran's Shield. So
yeah,
more or less standard, like you call
it.
No early pink wards.
I think the Doran Shield is kind of an indicator of Mordekaiser having a little rougher time with Ornn than a lane he can play aggressive and maybe start a Doran's Ring.
So this blue side setting up very defensively, and this red side going in for early wards. Get one in and just walk back out, didn't go for any picks. Looks like Tom Kench is recalling.
Syndra walked up to the red, but no ward placed.
Interesting. Get a little bit of cheeky harass off from this Syndra into this mid lane. Gallia, of course, having all that MR doesn't really take much poke from her, especially after the changes they've done to Syndra. Jarvan recalling. Going back.
Yeah, after the changes with Syndra, her best turn on point is when she gets that Q enhance at level 9, starts dealing more bonus damage, gets a lot stronger at that point.
Looks like red starting red and blue is starting blue.
So it'll be interesting. This is probably will alleviate the Misfortune and Braum from not having to leash and maybe get a cheeky set up for some early poke in the lane. Looks like that's what they're looking to do as Braum is waiting for them.
Good, fuck. Good camp dancing from these junglers. Words are hard.
Which strike do you think is
So it looks like pretty standard pathing from the junglers, buff to buff. Jarvan opting to start top side of the map, maybe looking for more aggression in this bot lane.
I'm
As
looking to
his first
see an
move.
early gank from this Jarvan since he did start that red side, so he doesn't waste that red buff. Rek'Sai going for a standard clear across the map.
Yeah, standard clear these days, red, blue, Gromp, hit your level 3. Least amount of camps, least amount of damage, especially with these machete junglers.
Good harass coming out of that Ornn onto that Mordekaiser. Both bot laners level 2.
So Jarvan setting up a gank bot lane. Let's see
Oh,
what
looks
happens.
like Ornn and Rek'Sai are going to run into each other in this top lane. Oh, good dive onto this bot lane. Managed to get out with his life. Did have to run flash, though, is this J4. Mordekaiser going hard here. Does he get the first blood? And he does. First blood to Rek'Sai and Mordekaiser. Oh, and the pickup kill from this Jarvan. Jarvan. No. Ornn. From the tower damage.
Ornn using his W unstoppability to prevent himself from being CC'd for much longer than he needed. Able to get out to the tower, able to get the trade kill.
Good trade right there. Not being behind that 400 gold is, quite frankly, much beneficial in this lane.
Yeah, both top laners using their teleport. Definitely want to get back to lane and farm. We'll have plenty of time to
Good harass from both
get
these
those
top laners.
back up.
Galio pushing in the Syndra very heavily. Rek'Sai doing as much as she can in that topside jungle. She's coming in for another gank, it seems. And they were unfortunately not coordinated enough, and there was a pink ward in that bush, forcing off the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai walking away. Ward back in that topside bush. Syndra is low on mana. She's at about 1/3 mana remaining in this mid lane, so anything that happens could potentially force her out of lane.
Yeah, Rek'Sai spending a lot of time in top lane right now. Most of his camps being up, spending a lot of time doing that. Definitely hurts, especially with Jarvan clearing more of his camps at this time.
This Braum Misfortune lane is
then.
putting a lot of harass down onto this this Senna lane. They seem to be playing really safe because of it. There is so much threat, so much damage coming out of those two.
Well, especially with the heal and the flash being down on Tahm Kench, definitely a lot less safe in this lane. Have to play careful. Misfortune with the press the attack does quite a bit of damage in quick fashion.
Mordekaiser going in onto this Ornn, getting good damage down, getting him chunked half his health easily with that one simple pull. Good play, good trade by this Mordekaiser. On a side note, I do forget most of the characters' icons right now, so if I stutter on names, it's because I've changed fucking everything.
No, understood.
J4, unfortunately, wasting a bunch of time in this bot lane, having to recall, does not get ahead in any gold sitting there.
Yeah, both junglers wasted their time a little bit in the early game, not necessarily taking that approach and trying to pick up their camps, have the correct uptime, looking for the advantage, which is kind of the feast or famine style of this jungle in this meta.
It's very difficult to be a jungler in this meta right now. You really have to get a good early game off. Oh, Mordekaiser going in onto this Ornn, trading good damage back and forth. Ornn dives out, does come out on top in this trade, but Mordekaiser is putting on a lot of damage and forcing Ornn off. All the mains go Dry Forge, flag and drag in. Ornn getting a good damage onto this Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser turning the fight, and he does not manage to turn it. J4 picking up the kill onto Mordekaiser. Good gank by J4, making up for that wasted time down in bot lane.
Yeah, lack of vision there for Mordekaiser. Had no clue where the Jarvan was. Trying to keep his aggression up because he had the advantage in the lane. Pays the price with the easy gank over the wall from Jarvan.
That does allow the Senna bot lane to play a little bit more aggressive and shove that lane out, hopefully to get a nice early dragon.
Looks like Rek'Sai's going to solo the dragon. Pretty common for junglers to do that in this meta, give their laners as much opportunity to farm. Does put the Rek'Sai behind typically, but Jarvan hasn't cleared as many camps currently. 29 CS, 36 CS.
Mordekaiser only up 5 CS on this Ornn. And Mord has died twice. Not such...
Mord had a pretty strong lead in the early game, especially after the minions had died to that tower after that double first blood up in the top lane. But after that death to Jarvan, Ornn has caught back up.
Syndra up 11 CS on this Galio, but unfortunately she was not able to back in time to get her full lost chapter, I believe it is. Yeah, she had to settle for just the crystal.
Yeah, and at that point, depending with Syndra having probably the strength in this lane over Galio, melee versus range, obviously, you wonder if maybe
Ornn going onto this Mordekaiser. Unfortunately, not much damage to follow back up. Mordekaiser does have the better damage in the long fight. Ornn using his ult, going in hard onto this Mordekaiser. Can he get the dive off? No, he backs off. Both top laners at a quarter health. Ornn, of course, leveling up there and chugging pots. Here comes the gank from Rek'Sai. Ornn sees it and backs out. Oh, Rek'Sai forcing the flash out of this Ornn. Oh, Rek'Sai has a real ult now. Holy shit.
Ornn did his best there to avoid the CC, get out of there from the Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai tagged him with damage, ults in, execute damage comes through.
I pulled the D-man there. Oops. J4 going in hard onto this Mordekaiser. Oh, it's Galio. Shit. Mordekaiser beating up this Galio. Something fierce. Galio forced to initiate back in. Looks like he's going to go down. He had to flash out. Mordekaiser beat up the kill, but using his flash in the process. Mordekaiser 2-2, 64 CS. He is up 20 CS on this Ornn in this lane. It looks like he's running away with it. Syndra taking a cheeky tower shot there for some early harass onto this J4. It was forced to hold this mid lane under tower. Good trades coming out of this bot lane. Syndra not punishing this Jarvan nearly as hard as she should be for the situation she's in. She is roaming up to, it appears, get the blue buff.
So almost 10 minutes in, about a 1,500 gold lead for Rothlin. We'll have to see when Lift can potentially start synchronizing these ultimates and start making a play. Galio has yet to use an ultimate roam with the Jarvan, so we'll see if they can get that together. I feel like using that potentially in the bot lane to a mobile champions down there. No, right now they do have their flashes up, so maybe if Jarvan can prep that gank.
Mordekaiser going in onto this Ornn, getting good damage down. He is down to half health before turning around and even doing a single point of damage. Ornn trying to force him back out, but he takes way too much health. He's going to have to recall or he's going to die, and he does.
Yeah, Mordekaiser's running away this lane. Already has his completed Rylai, so once he tags you with an ability, there's no running from this Mordekaiser.
This Syndra, excellent CS. At 10 minutes, 99 CS. Great farming by this Syndra. Ornn does not recall. He did cancel his recall, it seems. Oh! Gets the pull off, and Ornn quickly diving out of that, having no part of this. Syndra not doing very much damage to this Galio, but he does get the Thunder Shock proc. Standing in the Galio damage, taking free harass for no reason. Braum getting some good poke out in this bot lane for Lift. Rek'Sai getting spotted out by a pink ward yet again, does clear it with her own ward. Unfortunately, she warded before she cleared it. So that pink ward's gonna go down. Oh, tower dive into the top lane. Rek'Sai taking a lot of damage here. Ornn dying
Ult
to...
from Senna from across the map takes the kill.
Syndra getting her ass kicked here, forced the flash. Great counter initiation by this Jarvan. That camera change really fucked with me.
Yeah, it feels like here's
Ultimate out of Braum here, comboed with the misfortune, forcing Tahm Kench to eat it all. Does get away with his life. Tagged. Extremely low health. Does use the ignite from this Braum. Unfortunately, Senna ult. Oh, Rek'Sai ult coming in. Wombo combo coming out of this Galio onto the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai picking up a kill. Galio picking up the return onto Rek'Sai. Galio extremely low, diving in onto this Misfortune. Misfortune can't get away. Syndra is going to go down here to Ornn, it seems, or Braum, it seems. Mordekaiser coming in from the top lane with that teleport. Does amazing, tremendous damage onto this bot lane. Misfortune going down. Braum forced to flash away. Looks like Ornn is going to force the Syndra into the turrets. Oh, can Syndra get away? No.
Looks like a suicide here.
That was a good suicide by the Syndra to not get hit.
So key point in that fight, Jarvan does attempt to go with the combo with the Galio and the Jarvan ult together. Rek'Sai timing it out though with the ultimate to avoid the combo and make a favorable fight for Rothland in the end with the Mordekaiser teleporting in.
Unfortunately, off the back of that fight, there was a dragon up for them. This Earth Dragon, quite impactful in this game. And this Rothland Sports does pick it up.
So individual dragons right now, not very strong immediately. What you're looking for is a good soul. Cloud Soul, not the most desirable, but Rothland with the lead. Maybe you can cash that out in a couple more drakes, about 10 more minutes for them to even have a chance for that. But individual dragons just not very strong right now, but the power of the soul is definitely what you're looking for.
Rek'Sai not giving away the red buff just yet. Interesting. Mordekaiser going in onto this Ornn, and he chunks him. Ornn forces dash out, as always. Ornn wants no part of this Mordekaiser. He is in a bad state in this top lane. Interesting. J4 does not pass off the blue buff to Galio.
I wonder
J4 is a very mana-heavy champion. Galio getting this pink ward from Syndra. Ooh, does not get pulled in this top lane. That would have been probably a death sentence for this Ornn. Ornn, of course, extremely low. Minions under turret, tower low. He does initiate onto the Mordekaiser. And he manages to go fairly okay in that trade. Rek'Sai coming in on for the dive onto this Ornn. Doing great damage. Stuns him out and locked down and killed. Solo kill for this. Oh no. Mordekaiser does actually get an assist on that.
Yep.
Oh, J4 flag and drag stunned and ulted, forcing Tahm Kench to flash out. Ultimate down for Jarvan, but Tahm Kench loses this flash in the process.
And you have to wonder, here comes the Galio running down. We'll see if they go for a little combo here.
They do have a lot of damage sitting in this bot lane, waiting for the Galio initiation. Braum ulting combo with the Misfortune. Here comes the counter.
Galio.
Stunned out. Holy shit, what the fuck is happening here? Syndra getting some good harass off, following the roam from Galio down to this bot lane. Only one goes down. For both sides, I should say.
So Lift was attempting there to try to race down the first tower gold bonus, as the Mordekaiser and Rek'Sai were doing the same on the top. Unfortunately, we're not able to complete it before reinforcements had arrived, so...
It is looking like they are going to burn down the second turret top lane. And Lift...
2 towers for none. Rothland looking really strong.
That was a very late initiation by this Ornn, this Galio combo. Doing a lot of damage, though. Ornn continuing to put on the pressure here. Surprisingly tanky. Jarvan coming in. He does flag and drag. Will he pick up the kill on Rek'Sai? And he does. Mordekaiser taking this Galio extremely low. Mordekaiser picking up the kill off the back of that team fight. Mordekaiser could continue fighting this if he wants to. He is extremely low. Does he have ultimate? Jarvan flag drag in. Jarvan picks up the kill with the smite onto this Mordekaiser. Great gold distribution from that fight onto this Lift team to get them back in the game. Ornn, amazingly tanky there.
I mean, we'll see if they can get back in this game. Right now, they are, for 15 minutes in the game, down 4,000 gold. That's a big difference right now. Mordekaiser sitting on 2 items. Ornn still hasn't completed his first. Just has components for what looks like a Sunfire Cape and a Abyssal Mask.
He is sitting on a decent bit of gold, though, after that fight. He's probably just pushing up the lane, trying to get as much damage on the turret. Jarvan flag and dragging in. He goes in, suicides. There was not a lot of coordination on that fight. He went in too early, and his team was not there to follow up. Lockdown combo, and goodbye, Tahm Kench. That's all she wrote, really. Great initiation by Galio to lock him down.
Jarvan getting a little Leroy right there, going in a little early, but team comes in, picks up a kill, 1-for-1 trade.
Orn is still not completing any items. He is surprisingly keeping okay in farm, though. It's not the greatest, but this Misfortune farming excellently. She was, up until recently, tied with Syndra. 4 CS at 147. Now Syndra's at 163. She is getting solo farm in this bot lane, pushing it out. It looks like she's going to pick up the turret. This Rothland Esports fighting over this buff. Jarvan Flag Dragon. Rek'Sai going for some long range poke, not engaging. Mordekaiser does go down to Ornn. Good distribution. Misfortune whiffing her ultimate completely. Rek'Sai just harassing with that Q. Not much coming out of that fight over the Rift Herald. Rek'Sai going in, stuns him up, does force the Ornn to flash. And he dies. Great kill by this Rek'Sai onto that Ornn. Not really using anything for it. Rek'Sai on the hunt for this low Braum. Rek'Sai flashing in onto this Misfortune. She's extremely low. Braum doing his job, stunning her up. Tahm Kench pulling him out. Good save, but it looks like the Braum is going to go down here. Great pickup by Senna on that top lane. Good rotation. There, keep going. Rek'Sai doing excellent work in this lane. Here comes the Galio.
Don't stop.
The fight will never stop. Galio picking up the Rek'Sai. Syndra does pick up the kill on Misfortune with the ultimate use. She is out of mana. And Galio leaves. It looks like they are going to pick up this turret topside at 18 minutes. Inhib turret down. Unless they can initiate. Galio getting some good harass.
Kind of risky.
Oh, wombo combo from the Jarvan and Galio. Do they get the kill? Do they get the turret? Do they get the turret? You do not. No kill so far. Actually, Braum picking up the kill onto Mordekaiser and J4 picking up the kill onto Tahm Kench.
And I feel like this entire 2 to 3 minute sequence right here was just a sequence of over commitments and overstaying. First, Lift tries to contest for the Baron, for the Rift Herald, gets a kill, overstays, gets picked off one by one, and then Rothland continues to push down the top lane, probably doesn't have enough damage and time to take that top turret before it respawns, and they get caught under the tower, and 2 kills go over to Lift.
And it looks like Lift is going to pick up this dragon.
But all in all, Gold's still relatively the same, though Lift pulling a little closer right now.
They did split that gold lead by about half. They were down up to, I believe, 6k, and now they split it to 3. No, 3.5. When we're talking several thousands of gold, what's 500?
Correct. So we're looking for major item completions here. Ornn's still not at the point of getting his Ornn upgraded items. Still doesn't even have a second one completed, but would be a big gain.
Huge with the Rylai's Leandri's combo right now. Rek'Sai does have her Black Cleaver completed as well. Senna does have 2 items, but she has not completed her Miramana. The Rift Herald smashing his face out of the turret, picking up the mid lane turret, opening up this map for Rothland. Rothland backing out. Mordekaiser going in hard onto this Ornn. Ornn getting tanky. Can't duel him though, but he is getting tanky. Does pick up that cannon minion under tower. Good job. It does take a very, very disciplined top laner to stay in front of that turret instead of letting it all die. Jarvan Flag drag onto the Kench. Kench losing a lot of health here. Senna ult coming out. Misfortune ult coming out. Galio ult coming out. Oh my god. Syndra forced to Zhonya's in the backline. She does pick up the kill onto Jarvan, but Galio does kill Syndra in the process. A lot of ultimates coming out here. Oh, Senna tagging the Ornn and pops him. Great shot by that Senna. That is a skill shot, correct?
Yeah.
Rek'Sai coming in. Braum dashing in. Picks up the double kill. Is this Senna? Misfortune picking up the Rek'Sai off the back end of that fight, but she's going to go down to Senna. Senna picking up triple kill. Here we go. Galio, extremely low. Does he get in? Away with his life? He does not. Mordekaiser slamming down the hammer. Here we go.
Ace for Rothland. Their lead, while it has wavered, has been consistent. They have been playing this game with the game plan that their comp has in mind better than Lift has for most of this game. Some hiccups here and there, but with that ace, not able to pick up anything on the back end, but big money into the pockets of Senna and Mordekaiser.
This Jarvan playing extremely aggressive, and it has benefited them a few times, but it's mainly just been a liability this game.
Yeah, they've yet to. I feel like this game was. Well, it hasn't been lost yet, but if it is lost, Lift probably lost this in the mid game. Galio was 6. Jarvan was 6. They never utilized this combo in the bot lane with the Braum, with the Misfortune, with 2 immobile champions in that bot lane. You wonder if they missed out on a huge opportunity to snowball Misfortune, snowball that AoE damage, and maybe be able to execute their comp a bit better in this later stages of the game. Now that we've approached past 20 minutes.
We did say in the load screen that their comp will require a lot more coordination than this Rothlin team's comp, and it does show. They are not quite at the level as a team where they can reliably combo all this together. Seems like a little bit of practice is needed.
Yeah, and you saw in multiple instances Jarvan going into that mid lane fight and dying before his 3 teammates could get to the mid lane to get that, but ended up getting that trade kill.
Yeah, Jarvan going in 14 seconds too early and just dying. Yeah, the shot calling has not been the greatest. Good calls, bad timing. It's been plaguing this team. A little gung-ho. Good wards coming out of both these supports. Galio with the 29 ward score at 23 minutes. Attaboy. J4 doing extremely poorly on the vision score side of things. Only 13 versus opponent's 27.
Well, he's had sweeper most of this game. Maybe not have swept that many wards out quite yet.
He does pick up 1 behind that red buff on his side. So let's take inventory on the towers that are down. Somehow, still standing, is the top lane inhib turret, but both other turrets are down. Mid lane turret is down for this Lift team. Syndra shoving out the wave. Looks like they're going to shove it into this Lift second tier bot turret. They're setting up for Dragon. Will there be a Dragon fight? They are sitting on a ward right now from Lift. Rothlin.
I'm going to sweep it out though. Here we go. Here comes
Easy
the
clear.
bench. Nom nom nom. Give me that ward.
Galio going in, forced to use his proto belt to get away. Interesting choice of initiation. Mordekaiser bringing the pain here. He is going to drop this tower, it seems. Galio missing the initiation onto this Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser does take a lot of tower shots due to his... I have no idea what that ability is called. His AoE, sorry.
That'd be his Q.
Thank you. See, the last time I played Mordekaiser, that was called Maze of Space. Oh, Ornalt coming out. Does not get much off of it. Rek'Sai picking up the dragon.
Initiation.
Oh, here comes Galio onto that that Braum, but Braum does go down before it can happen. Misfortune whiffing her ult there. Not getting much out of it. Mordekaiser does pick up the kill onto Ornn. Misfortune does pick up Rek'Sai out the back. And Syndra going very hard. Does ult. Does not pick up the kill yet. She does end up finishing off Misfortune. And Senna going hard onto this Galio. Another ace. Oh wait, no. Jarvan. Not even in fight. So again, just seems like bad coordination, bad calls, bad timing, like you were saying.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, the writing's kind of out of the wall. We see it. Almost over a 7,000 gold lead now for Rothlin Esports. Just communication error, not syncing up with their abilities very well, not committing to the play. You gotta wonder,
okay,
was this the right comp for Left to play here?
Now we gotta give the props so far to this Rek'Sai specifically. The Rek'Sai play has been phenomenal, not wasting very much time, getting something wherever she went, not staying in an area for too long. Doing amazingly well to keep the Syndra in the game too against the very oppressive Galio.
And I think one thing to note, especially in the early game, getting that first blood and shoving the minions under tower in top lane. Mordekaiser from that moment had dominance in that top lane, and Ornn has just not been able to keep up. 3-7-5 to the 7-5-3 on Mord. Mord has been making play after play with his aggression, and Ornn
not
being able to sync up with his team has been rather ineffective, even with the strong and powerful power of the Ram.
And here it stands. Unfortunately, for most support players, Roth, when you're behind, you really can't do much here, it seems. Misfortune does pick up her blue trinket, and so does Senna. It is time for the blue drinks to come out.
Looking at items, Senna almost at 3.5 items, Misfortune only on 2. Just you got to wonder if they can even compete with the damage on damage right now.
It does seem like in a straight team fight, this Senna is going to walk all over this Misfortune in terms of total damage output. Yeah. Misfortune having very low base attack speed.
Yeah, they're really going to need to find a sync up here. Perfect sync up. The Jarvanel into the Galio, into the Ornn.
Senna getting
they're
chunked
need that.
And doing some chunk damage onto this mid laner. Galio. Rek'Sai laying in wait. Was looking to get a cheeky initiation onto a potential Misfortune, but she did not take the ward bait. That was Jarvan that ate it for her. Nice little setup, though, by that Rek'Sai. Could have got an easy pick there. Miss Syndra does shove out this bot lane very hard. Ornn soaking up farm like a wet sponge. Yes, wet sponge. His farm is, at this point in the game, underperforming. Galio does have good farm. No, he doesn't. Completely out-farmed by this Syndra. 230 to 165, Syndra to Galio. It looks like Rothlin is just cleaning up the map, soaking up what they can, forcing in every lane, getting ready to do these objectives. Jarvan does stop the recall onto this Tahm Kench, so Tahm Kench says no, and he's going to take out your ward instead. Syndra setting up the balls. Does get a good stun off.
Yeah, Baron looking like the next objective that Rothlin's looking for to clean up this game. But I would have to say, you've got to be careful because the power of this combo, these combos that this Lift team has, that is the only way they come back. So if they're going to go for a Baron, they really looking for a pick or a team fight that they can control before they go for the Baron and try to close out this game. They might not even need Baron at this point with the inhibitor, with 2 inhibitors exposed. They might just need a solid pick,
Lift
maybe 2.
Needs an asymmetric team fight. They really need to get a 5v3.
They're going to have the Baron.
Rothlin Esports going onto this Baron does not sweep the ward out in the back of the pit.
It is turned off by a trinket,
yes.
by a pick ward, but
ward coming out. Mini clairvoyance coming out. Misfortune does use her make it rain to get away from the fight.
And Rothlin doing smart play, backing out. Don't want to walk into the only way Lift gets back in this game by comboing all their ults together. Move on. Look towards the dragon.
The shot callers for this Rothlin team doing quite frankly amazing work, and the game sense of everyone on this team. Knowing what to do exactly in the situation. Lift seems to be running around like a chicken with their head cut off, just bouncing between objectives right now. They did not push out this mid lane, so if Rothlin does win this next fight, they've got an inhib in the mid lane, all 3 lanes, easy. Lift not controlling their lanes, every lane pushing in against them.
Losing so much gold. 9k down. I'm not sure if a few minions are going to help, but every gold counts at this point when you're this far behind.
Well, if you can manage your lanes, you could at least stop, if the enemy team gets Baron, but every lane is pushing against them, you have 45 seconds of pushing lanes. Oh, J4 going in onto this backline, forcing the Galio ult and the Ornn ult. Oh, Syndra does pick up the J4. He was caught and he had to flash in to initiate. Good damage allocation across this fight. No one dying just yet. 2 tanks fighting the bottom side of this camera. It's like watching 2 wet noodles kill each other. Oh, flash out from this Misfortune, forcing out the Mordekaiser. Syndra doing good damage onto this Ornn. No deaths yet. Oh, Senna with the crit. Senna double kill onto this bot lane.
And that should do it.
That looks like all she wrote. Syndra picking the kill. Look at
discombobulated in that fight.
I called it.
Fighting from 3 different angles, just not on the same page at all.
And because Lift did not manage their minion waves, Mordekaiser walked out of that fight, went, fuck it, I'm not fighting, and just proceeded to destroy a turret. So, 45 seconds before it happened, all 3 inhibs down.
Yeah, it looks like Rothlin's willing to just take the inhibitors at this point. Not looking necessarily in the game right here. But then maybe if they get a couple picks.
Oh, this Ornn actually doing a decent bit of damage, but this Rek'Sai doing a lot of damage onto this Ornn and drops him. So this Senna pick doing a lot of work. Rek'Sai Senna, unsung heroes of this game, that is definitely being picked up on their shoulders by this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Senna 4 aims completed, just so much
9,
damage.
1, and 10.
I'd love to see the soul count and see where her crit's at, but unfortunately not be able to take a look at that right now. Now they're going to transition to that Baron. Without the Ornn, with the 3 inhibs down, no way Lift can contest this. And if they do, they're just writing the game over sooner
J4,
than
extremely low health. Does throw the flag to the pit, does get vision. They do know they're there. Teleport coming out from this Galio. Interesting point of initiation from the teleport. Misfortune ult coming out to force them out of the pit. Does not work. Syndra picking up the Baron Nashor for Rothland Esports. And now Lift has the turtle. With not much left to turtle with. They're turtling at their Nexus turrets. Jeez. It's going to take a miracle for them to come out on top here. I don't think they have the items to win this.
It's literally going to take Jesus coming down from the heavens for to have a chance to win this game at this point. No inhibs, Baron down.
And not...
Soul if they want it, Rothland, but I think they're just going to press down these lanes with the Baron buff and just end this game.
And there isn't even mechanical outplay potential for the champions they picked. They're all very low skill ceiling characters. You can't outplay in this situation. It looks like they need to get a flawless initiation onto 3 people, 5v3, and just shove it back out. But it's not going to happen.
They never were able to find it, and that's the reason why Lift is...
Oh, Mordekaiser chunking out this J4. J4 diving in onto the Senna and popping. Senna forced to be picked up by this Tahm Kench. Senna does get killed by Galio, but Rek'Sai picking up the misfortune, and that is basically the only damage for this team. Rek'Sai taking up the game as well. That's GG. It looks like it's over. Syndra does not get the kill. The cheeky Zhonya's ends up getting in the end, though. Good game from Rothland Esports against Lift. That was pretty solid.
Yeah. You talked over me a bunch though when I was
I'm not used to working with you yet. Sorry, that's my bad.
But we were also desynced at times for some reason.
Yeah.
Like you'd be a little bit ahead.
All right. You ready for your feedback?
Yes. Aside from the swearing. I know that one. That was me not knowing shit and panicking.
Alright, so first of all, I want to ask you, how do you think it went? Each of you. First, Jake.
I'm really rusty, so that very much showed, but I think it went pretty okay. Foz is a tremendous color commentator, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit sloppy because like we never worked together.
This is the first time we've worked together since we played in Eflux, where you and I did that one-off. So
I've done play-by-play before. It's been a while. It's been 4 seasons basically. So I've been a bit rusty. I mean, obviously, I feel like there's things that we could have improved easily.
Oh, for sure. This is our first time doing this.
Especially when it comes to researching the teams and maybe having being able
knowing
to
what things do.
like for me, like I know I've played a lot of Senna. I understand where her breakpoints are, but not seeing her soul count kind of limits what I can talk about her. For instance, that's a minor thing, for instance, but that's like one way I know I can improve.
Yeah, I understand.
Not having access to the camera is also rough.
Yeah, of course. Like when you're well, it depends. Like if you're casting and streaming, like usually what we do is we have an observer, and you go into that observer, and you are in the game yourself. So what the stream sees isn't necessarily what you stream. You can do whatever you want, basically, right? You can that we give full control over that, unless you're observing. Like now, for example, this would be our observer. Then we just leave it on automatic. The reason why is because the automatic system usually picks up most of the most important fights, kills, stuff like that, and you are able to usually see everything about the game. The only thing that you don't really see at the moment is when you have the amount of dragons to get out there, when the Baron is going to show how much gold that's going to give, etc. But we're working on a plugin for that so that observers can actually see that the way that EU LoL Esports is seeing this. So
nice.
That's pretty solid.
Okay. So how long do you think you guys have the synergy that most of the casters on our deck currently have, even though they haven't casted together? They individually know pretty much well enough about the game to be able to even when they make mistakes, they can be able to pick that up.
Yeah, that's
and-
me not having played in forever. Like, that's just, I gotta read patch notes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
purely me
so-
not doing my research.
All right, so let's. I'll first go over the minuses, and then we'll go over the pluses.
Of
all
course.
right? So the first thing I write is you missed your introduction. This is really important as a caster. You're casting for us, but you can always introduce yourself and be like, "Hey, this is Jake casting together with Faz. I'm doing the play-by-play. Faz doing the color casting. We hope you're ready for this. We're very excited. Blah blah blah." That gives you a little bit of engage with the audience, right? That's the second point. You guys aren't communicating to each other. You have the cues, which is really good. That's in my plus, that you have the cues that you can take over really well. But sometimes you guys were against each other in a way, and I want to see a little bit more of an engagement, asking questions instead of doing co-parent talk, as I say it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. When I usually do play-by-play, I would always set up my color for something, but yeah, it's obviously it's the color. I'm not sure exactly how to set that up because this is the first time I've ever done it.
Yeah, and I don't know what to ask you because you are better at color than I am at this. So
Yeah, no, but it's more about, like, even if you don't know about the game, right? It's like, okay, so they're 5k gold down. What does CE Lift need to do to be able to overcome this? What do they need to pick on? What kind of objectives can they do? How is their team play going to work? Because you have someone that is experienced. Even if you are unexperienced, you can ask that question. You'll get the response, and the stream actually likes that response because then they will know what the caster is going to talk about during the game. So you can do that in champion selection. You can do that after like a big team fight to be able to, get a grip of how the game is going to go in your terms and what they need to do. And I do that in both ways. Like you can say, how are they going to extend the lead? They have a 5k gold lead right now. What is next for them? And then you can be like, hey, yeah, right, you're right, Fuzz. They might be able to pick up Baron in about 2 minutes when it spawns, but they first need to do the ward. So they'll be controlling the map a little bit more, going for that early engage into the jungle, making sure that they can maybe even get a pick off so the Baron is easier to pick up. Those are the kind of things that you can work as a team together to be able to make the stream more interesting. So that brings me to the third point, which you already know, is your knowledge, Jake, needs to be a lot better.
Oh,
you
yeah,
need
for
to
sure.
know what's up of the meta, and I can see that you're not really experienced in League, especially with the mixing up champions. I get it. I know why
They've
you
changed
do this.
every single splash art in the last 2 years.
But that's the thing, Luke. In League, everything changes every patch.
Yeah, that's purely just me not playing.
Yeah,
but that's also
I
a simple bit.
understand.
Yeah, that's a simple bit of research on my end. Like that's me actually playing more League, so I can do that no problem.
And the parts that you can do is watch 1 or 2 VODs per week on what the pros are doing. And watch a couple of videos or streams or something like that will tell you about the meta, or read about it. Even you can even read about it nowadays with a patch tier list, right? And that will actually tell you the difference between low elo and high elo. So if you're doing a platinum league, you'll probably see low elo meta, and then Katarina will come up and Akali will come up, even though she's going to be nerfed in 2 days. And